Welcome back to the Good Talk, where we recap the game of Warhammer that we just played and answer all of your burning questions, both Warhammer and otherwise. We're just coming hot off the heels of a game playing with the brand new Adeptus Mechanicus Codex that came out today. Go and get your copies if you can. Good luck. It's a really good book. Real cool. We are joined, of course, by our producer. We have a nice new setup. How you doing today, Zach?
Awesome.
Yeah? You like our sign? We finally put it up.
I do. It's nice. And like you and I have this like purple glow to us. It's kind of interesting.
I like it. I'm still trying to convince these guys to start like a hipster bar. I feel like we have like the vibe going on, you know?
These guys don't drink.
All right, well, we could serve like Diet Coke.
Yes! That would be a hipster.
Ah! Is that a voice from off screen?
Yeah.
Shall we welcome in the other player for today's match? This is Bridger. What's up, Bridger?
What's up? I think I'll have the sign on too bright. So if it's too bright, let me know in the comments.
I like it. I like the halos. I always want to walk around with a purple halo around me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's good for branding.
So we just played a game, and it was against Necrons. We had the new Adeptus Mechanicus Codex versus the Necrons. We did know that we wanted to show the vault because we were graciously given this. It was commissioned and bought, kind of led by Iolanth, who's one of our mods. It's one of those things where it's like the capital I and the L always look the same. So.
That did mess me up for a long time.
Exactly.
But I figured it out.
There you go. So big thanks for that. And we kind of took the Necron list and built it out from there. It wasn't an unreasonable list. You had 60 warriors, you had 2 chronomancers, you had a catacomb command barge. Like it had like a good solid core.
Good bones.
Good bones.
What was wrong with the bones then?
It just melted.
Nothing was wrong with the bones. I think that was like, other than the vault, which is a weird inclusion, but I enjoyed playing it.
Yeah.
And I would play it again.
Yeah.
Not against AdMech.
It was 1,500 really great points. Like, it's true.
But
like the vault was cool, but we knew that wasn't.
But it wasn't the vault that failed.
It was not. The vault was not the reason that you lost.
Yeah.
Spoilers. Like, let's just start off this conversation by talking about MVPs. And I want to talk about an MVP that's a bit different than what I've been playing. This is my 4th game, I think, playing this Codex now. And the Vanguard were amazing.
Yeah.
I had the unit of 20 Vanguard with the Manipulus. So it's just a ton of shots with AP1. Use the strat to auto wound on 4s to hit. And it just shreds everything. Like, we were both shocked.
I hope we misunderstood that strat. Like, I'm just praying.
I know. I'm scared to look at it. But, yeah.
That isn't the way that strat works, because not much in the game that isn't a vehicle can survive that.
It's so good. I mean, but here's the thing. Even if it wasn't for that strat, this unit was already hitting on 2s re-rolling. Like, what?
But it's just like, if screw the plasma. You don't need the plasma.
No, I'm taking the plasma out.
20 guys
I don't need it.
with these rifles is 60 shots.
Yeah.
Just 30 wounds on anything that's not a vehicle. Yeah. Like that, AP1, 1 damage.
Yeah.
Is that 1 CP?
1 CP. And this used to be the weakness of them, is they're a strength 3 gun. And it used to be on 6s to wound, you get an extra damage. They scrapped that. Now it's just 6s to hit are an auto wound. And so the strat makes that trigger on 4s. So it's like, hey, this thing doesn't really have any weaknesses. I really liked it today with Lucius. We had the Solar Flare Relic. So I was able to like run out, gank a unit, shoop, teleport, pop somewhere else, and do the same thing all over again. My God, that was amazing. So that's my MVP for sure, is the Vanguard, especially paired with the Manipulus. The AP matters a lot.
And
they were ignore cover, which I didn't even use.
The more I think about the math, like, you can't even play Mortarion anymore.
Yeah.
30 wounds just right off the bat, because it's unmodified force, right?
Yeah.
So 30 wounds right off the bat. He'll save 15. Ignore 5. So he's 10 damage just off of your 4s to hit.
It's so good.
Then you roll to wound with the rest.
Yeah.
It's like...
something happened?
Zach, what'd you do?
Nothing, actually.
No,
yeah, we're
buffering. Go to OBS.
OBS is okay.
Is chat complaining?
Yeah, they're saying rip. What's up, chat?
Can you hear us, chat?
Assume you can't hear us. We see your cries of pain. And now there's nothing in chat, which is weird.
Refresh YouTube Studio. No, we're live. I think we were live that whole time.
Are we here?
We're here, yeah?
Yeah, we're here.
Let us know in chat, guys.
I'm going to wave, and then in 30-something seconds, I'll see myself wave.
All right, cool.
Anyway.
Awesome. Go.
So, like, that 20-man unit that costs 13 points a model? Right?
No.
No?
8 points a model.
Yeah. I mean, they used to be 9, right? Or,
Yeah, I think they used to be a bit more even. Yeah.
they were
bounced-
never
they're all-
13,
But it's
though.
160 points for that whole squad.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm in danger.
It's ridiculous. I think, cool, awesome. Thank you guys. We're seeing your chat come in. We just want to be safe. 160 points for that. Realistically, 170, because you always want to, if you're doing the big squad, you always give them the data tether, so you can always be in range of your martial abilities. We'll talk about that in a second. And you always have ignore cover for 5 points. Actually, hold on. Sorry, it's not ignore cover anymore. I believe it's ignore the minuses, like dense cover. So still, for 5 points to ignore that, big deal. So I'm going to confirm that. And then I want to talk about these Skitarii Warlord traits that you can use on this thing, because they're pretty fan-friggin-tastic.
Kills 3 plasma inceptors every time.
It does indeed. So...
Almost one-shots Mortarion.
Yeah. Here we go. Shoot and fall back. And remember, since you're data tether, this Warlord trait can select them when they're anywhere on the battlefield. Didn't have that today just because I'm figuring out my HQs. I kind of want 2 marshals, but I kind of want I might not need 2 doms.
You love
actually.
marshals.
Marshals are awesome.
They're amazing. Real
Yeah.
ones to hit and wound all the time
Yeah.
is insane.
It's really good. I don't know. There's other amazing things. So look at this one. You count as being in light cover, and if you're infantry, you also get +1 save for being on
It's the Raven Guard,
terrain.
Shadow Protector.
Yeah, essentially.
How many points is the Marshal?
45.
So just to put this in perspective, Zach, he's a captain and a lieutenant. Together, those cost like 200 points. He's 45.
Well, he's T3.
He's T3. Well, that's exactly the point, right? We're seeing this is the same thing we saw with Drukhari, right? The Marshal doesn't fight like a boss. He doesn't tank like a boss. He has all these stats that, given his role, don't matter.
Right.
And you don't pay for them.
Yeah.
So it's literally just the bare minimum of paying for kind of the only reason you take them in the first place, right? How many times have you had a Space Marine captain like just standing in the back because it's the smart thing to do, but he's like, hey, I'm really tough and I can fight. It doesn't matter.
He's like a more efficient Gilliman, basically.
Yeah, it's
Kind of,
efficient.
yeah.
It's like, what? So they're real good. I feel like I went on a tangent there, but
I'm uncomfortable about this book. The more I learn about this book, the more I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't like what I'm
it's
seeing.
real good.
Like originally we thought it was pretty cool, like the playstyle, but the playstyle is going to get overshadowed by the raw efficiency of this book.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Like you could miss most of your buffs
I did.
and still crush people because the buffs are just cherry on top, you know? Like it's icing on the cake, and the cake is very large and has a lot of sugar already.
Kind of what we saw with Drukhari, remember?
Yeah.
We're like, oh man, Reavers are cool.
Yeah.
There's like a bunch of cool things that kind of you just don't need. Even like I love chimeras, but let's be honest, it's like a tech that I don't need.
Yeah.
So same kind of thing we're seeing here.
I
don't
mean,
know.
like we haven't even played with the Cerberus Hounds, we haven't played with the plane.
Yeah,
Like there's a lot left to explore in this book, and
Oh,
this
yeah.
is a powerful book.
it's a big, powerful, deep book. Yeah, and we're gonna get all this stuff. I'm madly painting up. I was having a lot of fun last night painting up our Dark Mechanicus. So lots and lots of combinations. Anything else about the game you want to talk about?
Well, so I had said something while we were setting up the Q&A that I think we should come back to,
Sure.
which is Drukhari
Yeah.
can pretty easily handle 20 warriors, right?
Yeah.
Even with the Inbound,
Yeah.
they can pretty efficiently deal with that. That's not really an issue for Drukhari.
Mm.
And now AdMech have just shown that they can pretty trivially deal with it as well.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens to Necrons now. Like Silvertide, it feels like it's gonna struggle in some common matchups.
Yeah.
And what else do you do? Like what?
Yeah.
I think the Scorpack Warriors, or sorry, the Scorpack Destroyers
Yeah.
are also gonna get dunked on by a 170 point unit.
No, they're better.
Nope. -1 wound is irrelevant.
That's
And it
weird.
Just straight through.
I don't like that.
Straight through till morning.
Oh my gosh. Right, because the thing we're talking about is there's that strat to give -1 to wound.
Blade
from this-
parry.
Yeah, they like spin their blades really fast and block bullets. But when you're auto wounding to hit, it doesn't matter. That's not a wound roll. That's a hit roll.
Well, GW has teased that they're getting some points drops. Do we care that Immortals...
Who,
are-
Necrons?
Yeah. Do we care?
the thing, yes, the mortals are getting dropped.
4 points more than a warrior.
Okay,
said.
hold on.
It's cute.
If
It's cute. Like,
Warriors go to 8 points, and now your 20 models worth 8 points instant kill my 20 models worth 8 points.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe. 100% points efficiency is still insane.
yeah.
If warriors just go to 5 points,
They're not going to go to
now we're talking. But they're obviously not going to go to 5 points.
They're not. What about 8?
They're obviously
They're not going to go to 8 either.
Yeah. No, I think so. I think we've been having a lot of discussion on the channel about Silvertide. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it a solution to Drukhari? Is it not? We've been going back and forth on it. I think we'd all agree that this just dunks on that.
Yeah.
Honestly, like it is mostly this particular unit, but it's such a cheap unit. Why would you not have this thing? 160 points for this bomb.
It's troops. It's just like a thing that you have.
Yeah.
They just hold objectives. They're
Just
cheap.
cheap OBSEC.
They're OBSEC.
Yeah.
They're required to build a battalion.
Yeah.
Like you would just do this in every list. There's no tax. You lose nothing.
No.
You're just taking
Exactly. So
your base troops.
Yeah, I think this is the biggest threat to the Necron Silvertide. A bigger threat than the Drukhari for sure.
Yeah.
So your question is this particular build of Necrons on its way out?
Well, my question is like, where do Necrons go from here?
But
'Cause
even beyond that, what about codexes, 9th ed codexes in general that predate Drukhari and AdMech? Where are they at?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Death Guard, Marines?
I don't want to talk about
Death
that.
Guard's interesting.
I don't want to talk about that.
Have we played Death Guard with them yet?
That's what people want to know, Bridger. That's what the people are
I
asking.
know.
I
But
don't wanna
like,
talk
that's what they
about-
want to know.
but
He says on the good talk.
they have already made their choice. And no matter what I say, I'm just going to upset people because it will disagree with some large group of people who will be like, I don't believe that, and I firmly don't believe that. You're wrong. Unsub. Turn off the stream. I hate you. Because people have very, 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 very strong opinions about power creep in 40K, and these new books are undeniably very powerful. Are they too powerful? What is too powerful? What does that mean? That's a personal decision. I can't make that decision for you. I have an opinion. You're not going to respect it. That's cool. That's how this is going to work, right?
Harsh.
Like
defeatist.
harsh
And
Jeez.
defeatist. Yeah.
I want to talk about matchups though. Like let's not frame this in terms of power creep then, but let's talk about what are interesting matchups. Like how should we be teching to fight against AdMech? I know it's so early. It's literally day one launch, but we've had this book for a week. We've been playing games. We've been chatting.
So what about, let's say, Death Guard?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Mortarion, you don't want to take Mortarion.
So
you
Mortarion
take his points, and what do you do with it?
dies almost immediately to almost everything in the book.
Oh, well, sticker. There you go. He'll just stay there.
Put him in.
So the traditional, well, that's too low. The traditional Death Guard lists include lots of Poxwalkers, get picked up for free, or they include Death Shroud Terminators, get picked up by the Ballistari. They include
Nah, I don't know about that one.
3 plus D3 damage, one shots the Terminator every time.
Yeah, but you got 4 ups.
Yeah.
So did the
How
vault.
much good did that do for the vault? So like the Terminators get picked up. Plague Marines were already kind of on their way out of seeing play because they're too expensive for what they do. Plague Burst Crawlers are cool, I guess.
Yeah, Plagueburst Crawlers are important.
But if you ever peek out, you lose them. So if you ever want to shoot your entropy cannons, they die to Ballistari.
Yeah, but they can also take out Ballistari. So it's a thing that we see right now where it's like, yeah, you have to feel pretty good about that trade.
But Ballistari are so fast, they always shoot first. They will always be the aggressor, and they will always get the first strike.
No, I don't think so. Because you can play back with the Plagueburst Crawlers.
Yeah,
Way back.
You hide.
You hide.
And then you don't get to shoot your entropies. And now what?
The Ballistari are super fast, but I think in many deployments, the Plagueburst Crawlers can at best dictate the engagement, and at worst, I don't think that they're going to get hit first. You're just choosing to only shoot your mortars. Which, when you're getting chunks of 3 on these 6 wound walkers, it's great. 3 of those does a lot of damage to the walkers.
Yeah, I mean, you get, like...
And that's the only anti-tank in the army, really. You have other things that are, like, good at
like
killing
2
anything.
wounds. You might kill 1 a turn.
With 3 of them.
No, with like 2 of them, I think you would kill 1 a turn.
Right. We're talking about how to deal with it, not how to not deal with it.
And then the 3rd that you damage just gets repaired. I don't know. I don't think PVCs... They're one of the most functional units in this matchup.
Well, there you go.
But I don't think they're sufficiently functional to carry the matchup. The priests, like if you bring any Poxwalkers, they're a liability because they're just giving priests 4-up invulns.
Yes and no, but the Mortal Wounds strat is pretty amazing too.
It is, but what do you get to charge? Like what do you What are you charging
You
with
have
your
screening
Poxwalkers?
poxwalkers. Let them have their 4-up invuln. Who cares? You're going to come in and do mortals and kill them anyways. That's
so
one
you
of the
can
best
trade-
tools.
You can trade like 2 units of Poxwalkers for 1 unit of priests. Because they charge your front Poxwalkers, and then you charge, and then they shoot you.
Yeah.
Is that a good trade? I don't
Yes.
know, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. Look, I'm not asking you to say like, oh, it's amazing, it'll work every time. I'm asking, what are the where should we be looking? What are the tools we need? You know.
Marines, how do Marines deal?
Marines are tough, I think.
Who's best suited?
Fast Marines.
Still, yeah, fast Marines.
White Scars?
It's going to be White Scars.
Scars.
It's going to be Blood Angels.
It's gonna be Ravenwing.
It's going to be Ravenwing, yeah.
Um,
So you need like multi-melt attack bikes to punish when the Ballistari do move out and shoot something. You have to be able to kill them instantly.
yeah.
And then you need to be able to get to the back line and touch them with something.
Yeah.
I don't know what that thing is. If you can kill characters, the AdMech book doesn't have any bodyguards, right?
Nope.
Characters are hyper integral to the functioning of AdMech right now. They gave out so many buffs
Yeah.
that I think we might see a return of snipers. There's probably some sniper in some book that's a little too good,
Yeah.
and we'll see it.
That's an interesting point because, as we mentioned earlier, a lot of these, other than the Skitarii warlord traits for some reason, the other abilities, all the holy orders and stuff, really require you to be close to the unit. So you have to be pretty aggressive with the way that you play these characters. So it's not like one of the answers to snipers before has been like, well, you just play them back or you keep them out of line of sight. But you have to, I think, be very aggressive with where they're moving. They have to be up in there in the trenches, which is cool. But yeah, it makes them more susceptible to snipers. I think that's the point. I think one of the good things for Space Marines, I think be happy because I think, as we're saying, the tools that you want to take against AdMech are the same tools that you're already wanting to take against Drukhari.
Yeah.
So that's great. That is one of the things that's been throwing off the meta in the last few books is like, cool, I have all these tools to deal with Death Guard, but now they're not the same as the tools I need against Dark Angels, and then so on and so forth. So you were having to tech towards so many different types of lists. This at least is, in my mind, 2 consecutive books where Space Marines can build towards a specific target and be okay with that.
Yeah. And it's also going to warp the rest of the field because you're not going to see Mortarion anymore. You're not going to see, I mean, like, I don't know, are big Terminator bombs in general going to continue to see play?
I think it depends how they play. I think the ones that have to sit there, yeah, like Death Shroud, are going to have a tougher time. Sadly, that is another solution to Drukhari, so that one is, yeah.
Like, I don't know.
So you need to be able to clear large amounts of bodies and have
At the right time.
and kind of have some anti-vehicle, but not even insane anti-vehicle.
I think insane anti-vehicle is good. I
Well,
think.
sure, always, right? But
Yeah,
is that what you spend points on?
You need
Yeah,
to be
I think
able
so.
to, with 1 activation, kill 2 Ballistari every turn for the entire game because you're going to see 3 units of 2, and you need that to be a decent trade for you. So how many points is a Ballistari?
70?
So it's 140 points.
Oh no, they're 75. It's 150 for 2.
Okay, so it's 150 points. There's not many 150 point units that can kill them from across the board reliably.
Attack bikes.
Yeah.
Ravenwing attack bikes particularly, because they can advance the first, while they're in Dev Doctrine, they can advance and shoot with just the -1. And then they get the invulns in turn. So I think they're one of the best equipped. Ravenwing in general, because you have all that multi-melta, you have your Talon Masters with the massed shots for killing things when they get out of transports. I do think the question of how many transports, like transports or no transports, is something that is definitely not, is anything but a solved problem. You know, we're just starting to play with it and can already kind of see that dynamic. But it remains the same.
They're 3 up, 5 up.
Just 3 ups. They have no invulns. So that's why the anti-tank, I think, is pretty dang big. And like the Dragoons here, the melee ones are also very susceptible to big hits, basically. They only have that 6 up invuln. They do not get a 5 up. So,
Well, one question I would have for you, I have
Sure.
2 questions for you, Adrian. One is, Bridger's going to lose it on me for this, but with Drukhari and with AdMech, some of what you're saying, I'm getting a little excited as a Tau player. I'm wondering
oh yeah.
if I've got broadsides, I've got shield drones, you know?
Yeah, I think so. I think
Clearing bodies, right? Lots of smart missiles.
Is there any way to ignore Overwatch in that book? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
So that's something. Yeah.
Yeah, That is actually cool. Because, truth be told, this is a very melee book. So Overwatch is real tasty.
And not an army that can deal with a lot of high strength 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucius is the best equipped because they're like, cool, I get +1. They get +1 armor save against damage 1. And they have a bunch of ways of buffing them, but the other 4 drills, I think it's tougher, yeah. That could be cool, actually.
I think Tal might need to see some pretty aggressive points changes for that to be a good matchup.
Well, and they don't have the stat lines, right?
AdMech just has a lot more of the army.
Yeah. Yeah, the efficiency might not be enough, but the concept is interesting.
You now have played a few games with this.
Yeah.
Last question for me. You've played a few games with this. How do you tell, what is this army? How do you describe this army's play style?
Yeah.
You've got somebody wanting to get into 40K and they say, these guys look cool. What's their play style?
Totally, that's great. The playstyle of this book now is a very mixed force between high punch kind of shots that are positioning themselves at the right time, and very powerful melee that is still combo based, so it's very positional, and it's about managing different abilities and different buffs from key characters, right? And so it really is this like mixed force of managing buffs, getting the big hits at the right moment, and very powerful melee. I think it's great. This is the AdMech that I knew and loved when I first started playing AdMech, and we have not seen this AdMech in years, not since 2 editions ago. So be excited. With that having been said, shall we take some questions?
Yeah, and we have some mail.
Oh, we have mail time. I forgot. My bad. This is from one Mr. Cobra Commander. Thanks so much, Cobra.
And it's to me. Thank you, Cobra.
Yeah, it's addressed to Bridjar.
All right. We didn't bring the box cutter, so I'm just
This is good entertainment. I like it.
doing it by hand.
Yeah.
Here we go.
What could it be?
All right, it's a green bag.
Oh, you've always wanted a green
I
bag.
have always wanted a green bag. How did you know? All right.
Dark Angel's colors. I'll take that for you.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. It's gonna have an off-screen death.
All right. Off-screen death.
Yeah.
We love those.
Oh my goodness.
It's more models. What could it be? All right, there's
Yes.
3.
One for each of us?
Which one should I? Oh, I can see through the bubble wrap. I know what this is.
You know what it is?
So this is more Fab Stoties.
Fab
I'm gonna need-
Stoties.
Where is the? I don't have a knife.
This
This is gonna be tough.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is more of the Fab Stoties. This is now enough to make a Blood Bowl team. Was the
That's amazing.
and I think I would play them as Bretonians.
I like it.
Is what I would play them as, and
Yeah.
I will do my best to get them out. At least get one of them out, so everybody can see.
It's the, you guys have probably seen versions of these online. It's the JoJo's poses of like custodies, essentially.
Yeah.
And so Cobra has these painted up, has them on these nice like marble bases, and they're like buffed and like flexing. And I think there's 4 of them doing the YMCA.
There are 4 doing the YMCA.
Yeah, which would be
Screwdrivers.
We
not
need to
gonna
get
help.
more hobby supply
thank
here,
you.
but that's the best right now.
All right. One more
Oh,
tape thing.
almost there.
Also, there was a screwdriver here.
Oh, I'm just popping the bubbles. I'm not actually. He got me bubble wrap for Christmas.
Let's do a question while this happens.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Arathriel's Gaming Lodge.
Hey.
He's got a list here, a AdMech list. Marshall, Dominus, Corpuscari, and Dune Strider. Infiltrators, 3 groups of 2 Ballistari, Data Smith, 5 Castellans. We haven't talked a lot about those,
We
right?
will, yeah.
2 Scorpius, Belarus. Keep supporting Scutari units, MSU, and cheap or larger, loading up on SW,
Special weapons.
special weapons.
And Space Wolves.
Yeah.
First of all, that looks awesome. I love it. I know
what he's doing.
we should try to find some sort of hand cam for this, but when we get gifts.
We're gonna get a camera right there. It's gonna
Yeah.
point right here.
Yeah, that's what we need. This looks
gonna go.
amazing, Cobra. I love it.
Or a glam cam, just another
Glam cam?
right there.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You can get it out of the shot. All right. No, don't play with that. That's so loud. Great question. So we have this list. It's Lucius. One of the conclusions I think we came to today is you don't really need the special weapons in those squads. You can, obviously, but I think the targets that I was wanting to use plasma against weren't necessarily the same as the targets that I was wanting to use the rest of the squad against. And so I don't know that you need it. I think I'm going to cut the plasma next time. Just keep them even cheaper. Keeps it to 170 with the special stuff. So yeah, that's I kind of think kind of where we're at. Oh, can you scroll back up to the list? Sorry. It's nice. I can actually use it now.
Yeah.
The Castellans and the Scorpius. So the Scorpius took a big hit because they don't get rerolls anymore. They lost a strength.
Yeah.
Which, funny enough, they're now down to strength. Well, let me just say this. Belleros were, for a hot second, a great solution to Raiders for many, many reasons. But, funny enough, Raiders went up to T6. These things were strength 6. Now these are strength 5, so you're winning Raiders on 5s. So they lost a lot of their rerolls, so I'm not crazy about them now, to be honest. And the Castellans also took a hit, but I think you can definitely see play because you can make them core, you can do buffs. They just are, I think you're going to need to work out what the best way is to play them, and I certainly don't know yet. Tuesday's game is evidence of that. Yeah, now you can scroll. I see the list. But yeah, overall, I think it's a great list. I like it. Infiltrators and Vanguard and all that stuff are really good with Lucius. I also like the Ruststalkers. We didn't see it this game because they were kind of back, but like Ruststalkers already get a +1 save when they're in cover inherently. So they're already rocking a 2-up in cover. Now you give them an extra +1 if they're Lucius. So you essentially get that immunity. They're like mega melee Scourge without having to use a strat. Like it's weird. So I think there's some interesting Lucius play to be had there as well.
Thank you, Iolinth. Would you boys be willing to play this match again, except at 2,500 or 3,000 points for triple Satan and Vault? Go Vault.
Does the AdMech still play with 2,000 points?
Let's assume it's not AdMech. Let's assume it's like Space Wolves.
Sure.
Which we do have to get Space Wolves on the channel.
That's true.
Is that a good matchup, Necron Space Wolves?
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
It's okay for the Space Wolves?
Yeah.
Fine.
Look, we'll definitely get the Vault on again soon.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. And we'll
And I do want to play more Catan. They're fun.
yeah. Well, yeah. Originally, you were gonna play a bunch of Catan,
The quad Catan.
and then you found that was A, pretty infeasible, and then B, we were playing AdMech, so you definitely weren't.
Yeah.
Gonna do it.
Yeah, so it would need to be not AdMech, and it would need to be more points.
Yeah. Yeah. We can totally do that.
I think we could do that.
100%. Yeah. And again, thank you so much for the lovely Vault.
It's a very
We're
great,
excited.
fun model.
Thank you, Porthos. Hi, guys. I finally got an airbrush setup and am looking for tips on priming with it and painting white and black base coats. Thank you for all the great content.
That's awesome. Congrats. Do you want to speak to that a bit?
You know, I don't use airbrush primer, actually. I should.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
I should.
Wait, why? What are the advantages of priming with airbrush?
You can do it indoors. You can do it where you're doing everything else.
So it's convenience.
It's convenience. You know, Brett uses it. Brett swears by it.
Yeah.
My current recipe works for me, so I haven't changed it, but I should. As far as painting white and black base coats, I also don't ever paint white or black base coats. And here,
Wait, what?
I mean,
Explain that.
I prime,
Yeah.
right? And then what's my first coat after priming?
Right.
It's for my Tau, it's super dark green.
Yeah.
For my Craft Rolled Eldar, it's red.
And what do you normally prime in for those?
Black.
ones? In black.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Now I've done terrain, but I never put a primer on and then do a black or a white first coat after the primer.
That's fair. That's fair.
I've never done this, Porthos, so I'm not sure I can help.
No worries. I don't prime with airbrush either. Partially for cheapness. I paint a lot of it's cost and it's also time. I paint a lot of models, and so I need to be able to just rattle cannon out and just do a whole bunch of them pretty cheap. Then I use like hardware store spray paint for the base layers. Yep. Yep. You gotta finesse it a
On
bit.
models.
On models. Yeah. The go-to one used to be, of course, the one from Osh.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see though that Osh has like been resurrected?
Yes.
Have you
Yes.
seen this? It's called Outdoor.
Yeah.
Yeah, they changed the name.
It's it's basically the same, which is funny because it was always like outdoor hardware supply.
Yeah.
And now they're like, oh, it's just like outdoor. Like, okay.
It was always Orchard.
Orchard.
It was
hardware
Orchard Supply. Now it's called Outdoor
hardware
Supply. This is
supply.
a Bay Area thing. Sorry for 99%.
What is going on?
So Osh, this hardware store that we're talking about, and they have like plants, and it's kind of like a Home Depot, which is also American, but it's a hardware store, and they had the best spray paint primer.
It was good.
It is so good that Izzy Sanchez swore by it. Amazing world-class painter would use it. It was very cheap. It dried very fast, and it applied very, very thinly, and so everyone would use it. It was amazing. And then they went out of business, and they no longer carry it anymore. When Mel and I were like out in Santa Cruz and we saw one, we're like, turn around, we need to go in. And we're like, where's your spray paint? It's like, it's over here. And they don't have any, it was their own brand of spray paint and they don't produce it anymore. So tragic.
That's probably why they went out of business.
This is too good?
They were spending all this money producing this great paint. They were selling it too cheap.
Yeah.
They love the customer too much.
The owner just like felt so strongly about this spray paint, you know, it was like his life dream, you know. But anyways, all this to say, I prime with rattle cans, and I prefer to do black base coat. So even if I have a black model, I'll prime it black with that. I will go back and re-airbrush over it. I never want to be painting
with black.
In black. I don't want to be working on the base layer, and I also want to guarantee exactly what shade of black it is, make sure I get that coverage, because there's often like some areas that you might have missed, so I will use the airbrush to just kind of finish up on that. I don't like using white, because if you miss any of it, it looks real bad, whereas if you miss some black, it's just like some shading.
Different processes.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll explore that more. Thanks again,
Quietly offended.
Highs. I mean,
That was such a tactical, diplomatic way to say you're wrong, but I don't want to argue.
no. We'll explore it more.
We'll explore that on a later date.
We'll explore that venue. We'll put a pin in it.
Thank you, Highs. By the way, my brother and I love your content. He was asking earlier, by the way, about Eldar in 1996 and the Warlock or the Spirits here. He is playing Tau. Can you give him a shout out? He married not long ago, and the night before his wedding, he had a dream about losing a 2,000-point game against my Eldar.
That's amazing. Definitely an omen about Warhammer, not marriage.
Yeah.
Congratulations and shout out. What is up?
Yeah.
We didn't get a name there, did we?
It was from the first super
Heis's brother.
Heis's brother, who we spoke to earlier.
Yeah.
And I'm totally blanking on your name. But yeah, congrats. That's awesome.
Thank you, Martin. It's the Battle of the Toasters. Have a great game, guys. Will you guys and Mel do an AOS game to celebrate the launch of 3rd edition?
Oh, funny you
Will we?
should say that. Yes, we 100% will. Yeah, we'll definitely go out and get the new box set and we'll be playing the rules and stuff. And I was discussing with Mel. I think she would be a good person to be part of that, honestly. So, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, MC Werp, for post-game. Adrian, some cool sister stuff has leaked. Zeph moved to Fast Attack. Celestine and Gemini are a unit again. Val, and then he's got his points cost here. Thoughts?
Well, unfortunately.
We don't talk about leaks
Yep.
for legal purposes.
I cannot comment, but I am very excited for new sister stuff. That's the extent of my... There's literally like a Calexis assassin, no, Vindicare assassin with a sniper pointed at my head right now.
He's over there. I see him.
I
Through the lines. I see him.
Yep.
Thank you, True Sherlock. Guten Tag and greetings from Germany, Titans. I just started my 2nd army, Iron Warriors. I bought the Chaos Space Marine Start Collecting box. Where do I go from here? Keep up the great work.
Thanks so much. More Terminators.
Terminator's very cool.
Terminators are awesome.
This is Iron Warriors. You got to get yourself some Dreadnoughts.
Some Forge Fiend stuff?
You
right?
could. Thematically, you could.
They're not Dreadnoughts, but like...
Oh, you could do a Contemptor with Volkite.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
And they are Dreadnoughts, those are Contemptors. Okay, there you go.
Get yourself... It's very thematic. Get yourself some Dreadnoughts. Get out of here, Aiden.
I'm sorry.
Aiden's like, no Dreadnoughts. Not in my Iron
I'm normally
Warriors.
the optimist, but I was just so offended by that for some reason. I don't know.
Get yourself some Dreadnoughts.
They're great with Obliterators, too. They're one of the factions that has... they get extra ways to reroll the flush metal stuff. So really great. They have that cool, like, if you're surrounded by cultists, you can't shoot the Obliterators until the cultists are gone, which is pretty cool. And
learn to paint hazard stripes.
Hazard stripes.
That's a skill.
Use masking tape, mask them off.
Yeah.
Or stencils if you can find them.
Thank you, Jeremy.
What's up, Jeremy?
Love your content. What blue did you use for the AdMech? Yeah, so you guys probably... Do you know this?
We didn't paint the AdMech. We purchased these AdMech from...
Colin Ward. Legalized Mischief. He's got... He's even had his stuff in Warhammer Community published. Great painter.
So look him on Instagram, and it's Legalized Mischief.
Yeah.
And he'll probably answer you.
He might not, but
he's busy.
No, it's like a...
It's a proprietary
It's a
thing
recipe.
Sometimes, you know? So it depends on the painter. I don't know how Colin
shared that recipe with Brian, but I don't think we're allowed to tell people.
Yeah, he did not share it with us. Yeah.
Sad.
So anyways, that's the best we can answer. But check him out, Legalized Mischief on Instagram. It's got some cool stuff.
Thank you, Super Cam Guru. Howdy, Titans.
Bobson.
I just. How am I supposed
Super
to?
Kami Guru.
Have you
Super Kami Guru.
watched any of the Dragon Ball series?
We've been through this.
We actually have. That's
We've been
right.
through this.
Vegeta.
I didn't even know how to pronounce
It's
Vegeta.
like Vegeta. I'm sorry. Zach.
No, it's fine. I mean,
Pasta needs some spaghetti.
Vegeta.
let me ask you this, Bridger.
Yeah.
How much do you know about homemade pasta?
I know you need to put some Vegettas in it.
Howdy, Titans. I just got here, so let me ask, how do you all feel about the AdMech Codex? And this is really the question, right? Stupidly overpowered or balanced?
I'm not going to cry wolf yet, or that the sky's falling.
The book came out literally today.
Well, yeah. Exactly.
Give it some time.
I think it's very powerful. I think it's a really cool book. I think it remains to be seen.
I'm nervous.
Yeah.
Like, I got that feeling in my stomach that's like, ooh,
Yeah.
this might be going somewhere bad.
It's like when it rains, you can feel the
in my bones.
in your good
actually.
bones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we touched on it a little bit, but who would you not be afraid to bring against them? Anyone?
Who would you feel good?
Oh, who? You asked that in a really weird way. Who would I want to take against AdMech?
Yeah.
I still probably take Drakari, honestly.
Yeah, I think it's a skill match at least. Until it's figured out.
That's what I want to play this game, but it's hard because these are both armies that I play, and they're
Yeah.
both insanely complicated. You can play Rack of Fires.
I know of a lot of Drukari.
You
Like,
can
I
bring
played
the
against
Void
it
Bomber,
enough.
and then I'll show you why it's bad.
Dude, I don't own a. Do you own a Void
No,
Bomber?
I'll go out and make one and buy one and paint ones just so you can lose with it. Anyways,
Yeah.
Drukari is definitely a good matchup. Everything else would be afraid. I think obviously Sisters is one to always look at. I think Sisters would be worried though. And I'll tell you why. One of the things that Sisters are really afraid of is fight last and fight first.
They have a lot of it.
Yeah, and Sisters have none. Even like the Good Sisters list right now that often take things like Inquisitor, so you have a bit of your own to like defend against it, or even there was a time where people were taking some Space Wolves to defend against fight last, and this is a book with tons of fight last. So that would make me nervous.
I think interestingly, some other books can win the fighting game, but they lose the shooting game against AdMech. It's the reverse for Sisters. I think Sisters can win the shooting game because they have Retributors and a Rhino.
Yep.
You pop out your Ballastar, you pop the
They're
Rhino,
just dead.
and then
Yeah. I agree.
but the Sisters lose the fighting game really badly. Which is it's interesting.
I think it's
that they have
very
that reversal. I'm also nervous. A large portion of my nervousness or my apprehension about the AdMech book is they're very superable, and people are gonna figure out like once people get good with this book, it's gonna take it to another level.
You do lose Canticles,
Sure,
but you're thinking about like las cannons.
but what do you get? What do you gain when you give up your Canticles? You gain Psychic.
You just take an Inquisitor.
Yeah.
You can have an Inquisitor and still have a
I
Canticle.
don't know, man. I think this book is gonna get like wild. People
Yeah.
are gonna really go
Yeah.
all different directions.
That's been
with
the
this
theme
book.
with AdMech ever since 8th edition, right? We've seen a lot of these like Imperial lists that are like really they're AdMech, and then they have some other Imperial stuff. But that's where the sauce is right there. It's a cool book.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm gonna play a bunch tomorrow, so I'll let you guys know how that goes.
Thank you, Edward. Crypto Thrall sounds like a harsh but entirely appropriate name for Bitcoin miners.
That's really good.
That is pretty good.
So true.
Thank you, Baron. Gonna start a guard army soon and intend to convert them to Traitor Guard so they visually match my Chaos Knights.
That's cool.
I'll use the proxy for Imperial Knights. How would you implement Traitor Guard as its own army?
Ooh. So a lot more sacrificial stuff, which Guard is already pretty good at, throwing out sacrificial units. Like I would literally like have a way to like throw Guard at like a tank and like take mortal wounds, but then slow their movement because you're like literally
Right.
clogging
Putting
their
bodies
treads.
in the treads,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like, oh, you take D3 mortal wounds or whatever, or D6 even, and the tank is like half move or functions on bottom profile because it's still bogged down.
Drop the profile.
Yeah.
'Cause there's like people like hanging onto the turret and they're just
Yeah.
like swinging the turret around. That's really cool. I like
Right?
that
Isn't
idea.
that awesome? And then things similar to that, like being able to shoot into combat with your own guys. Just like you're not as organized as regular Guard, but
Right.
you have like the ruthlessness.
They would like lose orders, but they would gain other weird,
yeah,
like a quasi order where you have to kill models to do it.
right, Yeah.
Like, you don't have a commissar. You just have any guy who shoots guardsmen in the head.
Yeah.
And then they do a special thing.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
Like,
Yeah. It's all about like chaff and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
I could be into it. That's very cool.
Thank you, Elf Sync. I've noticed a theme with speed being required to combat newer 9th Ed codexes. Imagine Raven Guard getting +2 or 3 inches to infantry movement. Too good?
Oh, interesting.
Sufficient to fight AdMech? Fluff fitting? What do we think? People really want to fix Raven Guard, don't they? We get this.
So do we. Yeah,
we
that's
get like
been a lot of
Raven
questions.
Guard question all
Yeah.
the time.
Raven Guard is like one of those factions where it's not, the rules aren't there. Like, you want to like the army, but the rules don't. They're kind of a mishmash of a bunch of different things. They didn't really align super well with the lore of Raven Guard.
Yeah.
And they got post nerf. They don't feel like they do anything anymore. So people want them to do something, and I feel that. I played Raven Guard for a while. I don't think +2 or 3 inch move is gonna. I don't think it's thematic. Like, since when are Raven Guard fast? They're sneaky, which would make them slow. And like, it's not too good. I don't know what it does. Like, what does 8 or 9 inch move intercessors do?
Well, that's already assuming you're giving them 4 or 5 extra inches, not 2 or 3.
No, 2 or 3. So from 6 to 8 or 9.
Oh yeah, I can do math. I swear.
But it's like, what is that?
It's not fast enough.
What does that do?
I agree.
Like, I don't know what that does.
It's
Nothing.
good generally, but does it do anything?
Exactly.
Exactly.
I totally agree.
Yeah, I don't think that helps.
Like, when we're talking about fast units, we talk about like attack bikes, because even in scepters that can go 10 plus the advance, it's like, it's still not quite fast enough to like get around a building to see raiders or AdMech or whatever. So like, you have to be substantially fast.
If it was like auto advance 6, always.
Oh my god, that'd be
now I'm interested.
That's cool. I like that.
But like, when we're talking fast, like Ballistari can move 22 inches and then shoot with no penalty. That's fast.
Yeah. 19 inches.
But Space Marines probably should never be that fast, you know?
No, because that's not their thing.
You're right.
They're like
Yeah.
chunky boys.
Although Ballistari should probably also not be that fast.
No, they're Dune Striders. But that's exactly right. Like, I think that's what we're saying is they need a fix that gives them this mobility, but not in the way that you're saying with the movement. You know, I don't know. More move, shoot, move, like Eliminators have, stuff like that. I don't know.
The funny thing, so it's really hard to read chat from this chair.
Yeah.
I've been trying the whole game.
Yeah.
Or the whole QA.
This is a game.
It's almost impossible. But then somebody like all caps something, and I can almost read it.
Don't tell.
But I don't
chat
know.
that.
I don't want to acknowledge whatever this all caps thing is. I mean, I just did acknowledge
just
it.
did.
But like, it's funny that I can
Well, Luke
almost
is
read
just
it.
making a point that 9 inches is going to help you get onto side points on most objectives.
But why not make this like a pregame move?
Which is much more Raven Guard, and they already have it.
No, but like you just like universal. Not you have to spend a command
Okay,
point on
yeah.
every single unit. It's just like, come on, like
Oh yeah, the Relentless Expansionists would actually be a pretty great half of the Raven Guard stuff.
yeah,
It's like every unit pregame move 6.
yeah,
I'm cool with that.
yeah, exactly. And then it lets you get up onto obviously objectives, but also just terrain that's blocking.
Oh, thanks, Super.
Aw, thanks.
Aw.
So yeah, this is bad for you. You shouldn't have that screen available. Anyways, hopefully that helps answer your question. We kind of went in pretty deep on that one.
Jacob has something quick here. He says, so there's a basic, thank you, Jacob, by the way. He
Thanks,
says,
Jacob.
There's a basic troop choice that invalidates my entire Silver Tide list. Fun. Neat.
Yeah,
We kind of chatted about this.
we did. I'm sorry, Jacob. I feel your pain.
I hope you watched our conversation on this, Jacob. Kind of. I also, feel bad.
I'm kind of bummed with you, Jacob. And I think a lot of armies are going to be bummed about like this. These troops are clearly too good. Like,
But let me toss this out. At the beginning of 9th Ed, excuse me, when Silver Tide was a thing right away, because the Necron Codex came out right away, and you start playing 9th Ed, and you've got an 8th Ed Codex, or maybe even your Marines, and there's 80 Necron warriors that are double objective secured.
Yeah,
Is that fun?
fun for me. I like that style. But no, I get
But
you.
it's subjective, right? I
Yeah.
mean, like, is that
I know what you're saying.
is that what GW wants the game to be?
that
Probably
was
not, right?
That was a possibility at the time, but very few people had figured that out. It took a month or two for people to figure out warriors with a chronomancer. like we did it initially, but we didn't go all in on it. You know, like we didn't go 80 warriors.
Yeah.
Everybody was trying to play with like the new models, the Doomstalkers. We were trying to make Scorpec warriors or Scorpec destroyers work. Like everybody was so excited about new models that they didn't just go bread and butter. And it was like, what if I had 100 warriors and they all had 5-up inmolds? They all resurrect. Like not many people did that. So the possibility for the feel bad was there, but the feel bad wasn't really there with Necrons because people rarely played those games.
Yeah, and even then, you know, at least in that kind of game, at least you get to shoot a bunch of things. You know, you're killing a bunch of warriors.
Right. Yeah,
maybe you lose, but you didn't get tabled. You know, you lost in a compelling way.
That's true, actually. Yeah. That's an important thing to balance. Yeah. I just was checking the strat again. Yeah,
it works.
We did it right. The strat's the problem, let's be honest. It's the strat.
It's the strat that's the problem.
This is a great unit that goes to a ridiculous unit with that strat.
It almost kills Morty.
Yeah.
That's not reasonable.
Yeah. Like if these were just the strength 3 guns that auto wound on a 6 to hit, you can give them the AP, sure, fine. Like they would be a great unit, but it's this strat that takes it to the busted level.
It's absurd.
Yeah.
Thank you, Broken Chef. Hey, Titans. Looks like I missed a short one. Have a great weekend. Personally feels weird taking days off when I enjoy hobby as my job. Any fun plans?
Ooh, yeah. I hope it's been going well for you, Broken Chef.
Yeah.
I feel you.
You've got some plans.
I have plans, and guess what? It's more Warhammer, baby. I'm gonna go. It's actually like the first kind of big thing like since COVID. Basically, I have a buddy that's doing a Memorial Day Warhammer thing, so I'm gonna take the AdMech up there. I'm just gonna play a bunch of games, play as many as I can. So I'm really excited for that. And then tonight I'm gonna be working on our AdMech and the commission stuff. So
I'm glad you have that entrepreneurial spirit, Broken Chef. That when you have downtime, you're like, oh, what can I work on right now?
That's what keeps you going, right?
Yeah, that is. I mean, like my free time, unless it's like 8 p.m., I'm working on something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And at 8 p.m., I'm like playing stupid games with friends.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my day.
Just, you know.
Or I'm here.
It's the funny thing, like
playing stupid games with my friends.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say that sounds no different. Do what you love, and you'll never work a day of your life, and you'll work every day of your life.
Thank you, Mr. C. In light of the recent glow-ups that recent codexes are getting, how would you say Necrons are going to fare in the future, seeing how they did today?
Yeah. So, sorry, we discussed this a bunch.
We were prophetic. We predicted all of these.
I mean, it's good. Hopefully, it means we're talking about things that you guys want to hear, right? They're gonna have to adapt. I think we're not sure how. It looks grim here.
I don't know.
Have faith.
I mean, we're experiencing this the same time you are.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
not
you
like
guys saw our shock and like horror as we wiped the unit of warriors the first time.
Well, other than Scortep destroyers, what is your thought? Like, you bring Necrons again against AdMech. Less warriors. What do you bring?
So
I'm gonna ask Adrian.
There are actually Bridges is just gonna be depressed about it. What are ways that you fight this? You don't have big units where you can just double down, and you have MSU where it's like, cool, you have 1,000,000 shots, you're gonna kill 85. Probably maybe even less after the points change.
Yeah.
Cheap immortals. Cool. That's
okay.
it. So you make those trades not worthwhile. They do melt once you get into combat.
Flayed ones? Are flayed ones too fragile getting in?
I don't know if they're any better than like the other currently melee options. You know what I'm saying?
Scorpec destroyers will be better in the melee matchup. Like if you get charged by priests, the -1 to wound will do something. Flayed ones, I think, will just fold to almost any melee threat in the AdMech book.
Yeah.
And flayed ones don't really have a delivery mechanism.
Right.
At least Scorpec destroyers move farther.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good thought, but I think you're right there. Another thing to consider is other kinds of durability, like the 5-up save of this is pure math, right? Which means your 5-up is just a 5-up. It's not like I have crazy rend on the radiums, but it's a 5-up. So anything that can get better saves, obviously toughness doesn't matter here, but the wounds, the toughness or the armor saves might be something to look at. But I would tend towards MSU maybe.
2-up armor is going to be a must-have against AdMech.
Yeah.
And there's like nobody in the game, but your cheap troops have to have 2-up armor.
So
otherwise, they'll just pick them up.
Custodes meta. No, it's not, because they're not efficient enough.
Right.
You will still have to make enough 3-ups they'll die.
Yeah, like the counter to the 20-man Vanguard is if Guardsmen had 2-ups.
Let's get going on that. Yeah.
Thank you, Jesse.
We're already thinking of ideas.
Thank you, Jesse. It'll get figured out, maybe.
Yeah, the internet will figure this out faster than
There's
we
a
can.
lot of people out there working on this. They'll figure it out.
And then the other thing to think about is there's still a lot of 9th Ed codexes to come out, right?
That's right.
So-
Yeah, man. The
Look at
I was gonna
Marine.
make a joke.
The Marine, the
four
heyday
that
of
have
the
been announced.
Marine
Yeah,
is waning, right? Marines, everyone was terrified of Marines, and
exactly. It's like, don't worry, it'll be fine.
the more things change, the more they stay the same, right?
Yeah, seriously.
Thank you, Jesse. Hey, Titans, I got my hands on a Knight Rampager body for my free Blade Lance. Want to make it into a Space Wolf Knight. Which Knight should I make it?
Oh, that's awesome. It's got a big gallant, right? This is it's the Rampager, which is the Chaos Knight one. So you got the backwards facing limbs and stuff. Got to be gallant, like striding across, getting in there.
Very dog-like.
Yeah. Unless you wanted to do some completely wild conversion, trying to turn it into something like a Cerastus, which would be a cool conversion opportunity. But rules-wise, and the rest of the like normal model-wise, gallant, I'd say. What do you guys think?
Oh, what about a Lancer? Somebody print a giant Space Wolf shield and make a Lancer.
But they exist. That'd be sick.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a Viking.
Yeah, like a
Knight
Viking.
turned into a Viking.
Give him a big cape. I played against a guy who...
I don't know about
you were going well and you kept going.
Space Wolves have so many red capes.
No, as they would say in Incredibles, no capes.
And I played against, at BAO a million years ago,
A caped knight,
a caped knight and his whole army was Spartans.
Yeah.
And it looked amazing.
and it changed your life forever.
It was gorgeous.
Look at that.
I'm
Sounds
sure. I'm sure if it's well done, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But
If that worked for that person, I'm happy for them.
I think you can do it. I believe.
Jacob, feeling sad about a silver tide here. Thank you,
Right.
Jacob. I painted 120 warriors. I feel dumb. Well, time to make 3 Catan lists work. Yeah.
I feel bad because we told people for a long time to just buy a ton of warriors.
120.
'Cause it was true.
120 was never appropriate, Jacob. Only Termagants. Only Termagants
love
and
it.
Guardsmen and Orc Boys. Right?
That was amazing.
I mean, come on, though.
Never appropriate.
120 Jacob.
Like you're telling off one of your students
We-
you're like doing something
We
inappropriate.
feel
in
you.
class.
We feel you, Jacob. But
We're both over here just like,
right? I mean,
we would never say to buy 120 warriors.
Guardsmen, Orcs, Termagants.
I'd say
Necron
I would
warriors.
have leaned more towards 80 as the sweet spot, but that's Warhammer right now, and like they'll come back around again. Unfortunately, it's for better or worse. You know, that's kind of it's the wheel as it spins on and on and on. But don't worry, we'll persevere. We'll find other stuff. We'll continue. I personally haven't even finished building all of my Golden Tide, so we'll still be playing it mostly because I just want to play it. So it'll happen, and we'll keep trying.
Guys, we did it.
We did it?
We did it.
We did
Oh,
it.
we did it.
What's the ETA on Five Guys? Thank you, Magnus.
Thank you so much,
You guys can
Magnus.
just watch
Yeah.
us eat our burgers on stream. Put the mics real close. We'll be like, we're gonna see if Bridger can eat 2 medium-sized French fries.
Too much. I cannot. I can eat maybe half of one medium, and that's if I don't eat the burger.
2,800 calories
you're
of
gonna
French
be
fries.
hurting.
That's if I don't
Yeah.
eat the burger. I can eat half a medium fry.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. I'm really excited. Well, this was a lot of fun. A lot of really great discussions about what is AdMech, what do they do. I think, as we mentioned, we've been playing them for the last week or so we have a much better sense. Still a ton to uncover about them. I don't know if we're going to do them on Tuesday or not. We'll kind of discuss what the vote should be. We have literally played, I think, 4 AdMech games in a row, so people might be a bit tired of that. There are other armies in the game still.
What?
I know, shocking. We're going to play some Drakari now.
I went to the same place.
Yeah. So we'll get that vote up real soon. That is going to be our Tuesday game. If you haven't seen it already, we had our Sigmar game for the month this Thursday. Get pumped for the new edition. Super excited to go see those releases that they just announced today. Also, pre-orders are up today for the new chapter approved in the points. I know, it's shocking.
Get your copy.
We get nothing from selling this. I'm not shilling it. I'm just saying we're excited because it's something that's coming out. I'm like, I just realized I sound like an ad.
I mean, we've felt that secondaries needed changes for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's exciting that maybe they'll get changed.
I am very, very excited for it. But yeah, bunch of other stuff coming out next week, covering a bunch of the AdMech, covering up some other announcements. Really, really exciting stuff. Thank you all so much for joining us. This has been The Good Talk. We'll catch you next time on the Tabletop.